Hi, it's Alex Shaker here. This is the second video in the SEO tutorial series. Now I'm going to talk about this Google formula that I revealed in the previous video in more detail. So let's get started. Basically what you've got is four main ranking factors that Google looks at. They look at your site quality, quality of your content, the backlinks that you have. This relates back to the concept of PageRank, and social signals. And by the way, the social signals have become a lot more important now than in past Google search results. Size of these circles or ellipses tells you approximately the importance that Google places on these four factors. So the first part of the formula, I state that Google rewards high quality websites. So I want to tell you what a high quality website is and how Google defines it. So these are the quality factors that really matter. First, the site age. This probably comes as no surprise to you. The older your site is, the more authority it's going to have within Google. Now, when I talk about site age, I mean both the domain name age as well as the age of the website itself. So even if you don't have a website but you have a domain name that has been registered for a number of years, it's going to have more authority in Google than a domain name that has just been purchased. So one way to have Google give you some credit for this is when you're considering developing a new website, consider buying an aged domain name. Spend a few bucks extra. You can get a lot of domain names for less than $50. And in my opinion, it's worth spending $50 versus spending $10 or $15 for a brand new domain name. So look at GoDaddy, look at Pool.com, and a couple other websites that take care of this for you, where you can buy domain names that are aged. Now, a second thing that a lot of people are not aware of is that Google looks at the domain renewal date. So what does this mean? This means that you should try to renew your domain name for as long as you possibly can. There are several websites that allow you, if you register with them, for example, GoDaddy, they allow you to renew your domain name for a total of 10 years. My advice to my clients is to renew their domain name for as long as they can afford it. If you can only afford to renew it for 5 years, it usually costs about $15 a year, then renew it for 5 years. If you can afford to renew it for 10 years, then do it for 10 years. Now, this is not a huge ranking factor, but it is a ranking factor. And you want to get as much of a leg up on your competition as you possibly can. And this is an easy one to do. The third bullet point, the number of ads on the page above the fold. My advice is, if you're running an e-commerce business, don't have any ads on the page. Why in the world would you want people to click on an ad that takes them to somebody else's website when you're trying to sell something on your own website? I keep running across clients that insist on having an ad on their website. I just don't get that. Usually you don't make much money if you have Google AdSense ads. Some people feel that, even if they make a couple of bucks a month, that's a couple of bucks a month. But I don't think those people realize that the ads on the page are hurting their ranking. As much as the AdSense people want you to have 3 ads on the page, I guarantee you that Google will penalize your site if you have 3 ads above the fold. And by above the fold, I mean what is visible on the page without having to scroll down. So you want to have no ads, if possible, on your website. If you have an AdSense site, in other words, it's a blog and the only way you can make money is through ads, then of course, go ahead and do that. But AdSense ads definitely will hurt your rankings. The AdSense people from Google don't talk to the ranking people from Google. Their job is to get you to put as many ads as possible. But the ranking people penalize you for that. So be careful with it. Text to HTML ratio. In general, the more text you have on your page, the better. Of course, the index page of your website, the home page, is most important. There's a nice tool provided by SEOquake.com that allows you to test the text to HTML ratio on the website. Essentially, you want to have as much text as possible on your site. Typically, you want to have at least 50% text versus HTML. HTML, for those of you who don't know, is the markup language or the coding that is on a website that is read by your browser to present information to you. It's better to have as much text as possible on your pages. Navigation quality, internal links, user experience. Now what I mean by this is Google looks at the navigation quality. If you have a lot of hidden pages on your website that are not navigable from your homepage, Google takes away authority from your website. Google wants the user experience to be as good and productive as possible. Any page that you have on your website, you want to be able to navigate from your homepage within 3 clicks. So for example, if you have a lot of pages on your website, you don't want to have too much on the navigation bar because that's confusing for visitors, but have drop downs on your navigation bar. You don't want to have any page that's on your website that is more than 3 clicks away. In other words, from the home page, you want to be able to go to an internal page, that's 1 click, and then from an internal page to another linked page, that's 2 clicks, and then be able to get to any other page on your website within the 3rd click. This is important. I don't think a lot of people look at it. Give that some consideration. I advise my clients to actually have no more than 2 clicks away, and preferably have every page that is a drop down from your homepage menu. Security certificate. This is something new that Google has just announced. Basically, Google is going to give you a little more authority if you have a security certificate on your website. This is called an SSL certificate. You can buy these from your registrar usually. Namecheap or Name.com, GoDaddy of course, they all will sell you a security certificate. You can also buy a security certificate for your website from security certificate websites. What this allows you to do is basically show people that instead of the HTTP : / people can go to HTTPS. S is for security, : / and then your website name. This is just a layer of security, and it shows Google that you're serious about your website and that you are trying to protect visitors from malicious content on your website. You know, this is not a huge ranking factor yet, but every little bit counts, so consider buying a certificate for your website. Now, the other thing I want to tell you about is keywords in your title and description. These are the meta titles and meta descriptions of your web page. This is basically what the Google robots see as the first thing for your website. So for example, the title and description is what shows up in Google whenever you Google on a particular keyword. So when I Google, for example, NBC News, I get this result. Of course, NBCnews.com, but this is the title of this is the meta title of this page. And it says NBC News, breaking news, and top stories, latest world, blah, blah, blah. The meta description is what shows up right here. Same thing for any other page. This one here, NBC10.com, would be the title, and the description would be right here, where it says get local Philadelphia news plus Philadelphia breaking news, etc. You want to make sure that the meta titles and meta descriptions of your page first and foremost describe accurately what the page is about. And then if you are targeting your particular page for a particular keyword, try to put that keyword right into the title and also into the description. So for example, if you have a website that's selling vitamins, then you want to have in your title vitamins somewhere in there. You don't want to have just vitamin, but you want to have vitamin, etc., something that describes what's going to be on the page. Same thing with the description. You want to have a description that accurately describes what's on the page, but also include the keyword that you're trying to target. Now, another tip that I want to tell you is that the title should have no more than 10 to 70 characters. Google will penalize you if it's less than 10 characters, and they will penalize you if the title is more than 70 characters. So try to stay within 10 to 70 characters for this title. Now, another tip for the description should have no less than 70 characters, but no more than about 160 characters. So don't try to jam all your keywords in here, and don't try to jam all your keywords in the title either. So make sure that your description is somewhere between 70 and 160 characters, and your title is somewhere between 10 and 70 characters. And again, do not jam all your keywords in there. Don't make it like vitamins, comma, B vitamin, comma, D vitamin, comma. If you repeat the same word over and over again, Google's going to penalize you. Make it sound as natural as possible. Make your title sound as natural as possible and your description sound as natural as possible. Put in a grammatically correct sentence in your description. And by the same token, put in a very descriptive title that tells people exactly what's on the page. Google is going to match this title with the content of that page, and if they believe it's a perfect match, they're going to give you a pat on the back by giving higher authority to that. So that's all I have right now on the quality of the websites. My next video is going to be on the second part of the sentence, which is compelling, relevant, and dynamic content. What does that actually mean, and how does Google actually test to determine whether your content is compelling, relevant, and dynamic? So stick around, subscribe to my page, and I'm going to give you a lot more really useful information that you can use to leapfrog your competition and get the highest ranking that's possible in Google searches. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.